Welcome to the MungleShow for Monday, August the 17th. Matt Mungle, Kathryn Ryan with you as always, talking about this week's movies, what came out this weekend, and then of course what's coming up in the following weeks. And we're in that lull now. It's the end of summer.
Yeah.
You know, and end of a mediocre summer. A summer I was kind of disappointed in.
I know, the summer that didn't really feel like anything happened except for Star Trek, of course.
But this weekend, a little surprise movie called District 9 kind of took off. So we're going to be talking about that and the difference between our love of the film and also The Space Wife, which has become known as the time traveler's wife, which you saw. I kind of subjected you to a little chicky flick.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and you survived. See, you're here, you're breathing,
I walked out, all my limbs intact.
Right, so it wasn't too bad. And then another movie we saw called The Goods, about selling good, bad sports cars, used cars, all of that. So let's start off with The Time Traveler's Wife. Now, this was with Eric Bana and Rachel McAdams.
Yes.
Both of them I like. But how did they do in this film, do you think?
For me, of course, Rachel McAdams, everything that she's been in is just great. I love her as an actress. She plays her parts well. But for this movie with Eric Bana, I just felt they didn't have that chemistry that worked. And so since they didn't come across as believable, I couldn't buy it.
Right.
Which made it really hard for me to watch the film and just put all this belief aside about time travel to begin with. Because I'm just sitting there like, time travel? Come on, guys.
Right.
But I still felt that the acting was great. The chemistry, though, wasn't there. And it was such a sad romantic movie.
So it's more of a romantic drama? Or is it even is it a romantic movie, or is it more of a sci-fi movie? Because, I mean, the title alone, Time Traveler's Wife, makes me think it's kind of
spacey.
Spacey, yeah.
But actually, it's more romantic than it is sci-fi. Of course, there's no scientific explanation really whatsoever for his condition, except for that it's genetic.
Right. So he doesn't like time travel as part of his job.
No.
He has the ability.
He has this...
To click his ruby slippers together, or what does he do?
He just has this genetic defect that...
Dude, that would suck.
No, it does, because he has no control over it. Sometimes he'll just disappear. And when he disappears and reappears in places, he's just totally naked and has to find clothes every time.
Dude,
so the reason why it's rated PG-13...
So it's a comedy, if you think about it.
Yes. That's the reason why it's rated PG-13 was because of the nudity, because you see just a bunch of butt shots.
Right.
A ton of them.
So he comes back like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator, where he's all
posed
naked.
like that and everything. But, I mean, the movie itself, it's more romantic than it is the whole sci-fi part of it.
Right.
Nothing against that, but it just was so hard for me to fall into it and believe what was going on.
Right. So the confusion part for me would be, so are they the same age? Or is he when he's with her, is he jumping in time, or is that his real time?
It's weird because when he jumps, sometimes he is like 20 years older than her, sometimes he's only 2 years older than her, and the only way you can really tell is if he has gray hair. That's the only indication as to his age.
Right. And see, in any movie with time traveling, it's so shaky and iffy. Like, you know, even Back to the Future, as much as I love that, you know, it's like there's so much plausible stuff where you can go, well, that couldn't happen because of this.
Yeah.
And you really got to seem like you'd have to check your brain.
And it's interesting too because, like with Back to the Future, the professor is totally against having them see each other like
right. You can't mess with time. Yeah.
Paradoxes. Oh, in this movie they don't care about it. They'll see each other 20 years in the future. Like Eric Bana goes to see his 6-year-old self, and he tells him like, "Hey, this is what's going to happen to you."
Right.
Which totally freaks the kid out, of course.
Oh yeah, like if we're sitting here and one of us just walked up just now, that would be really weird and said, "Oh, I'm from the future." I mean, first thing I'd be thinking is like, "Okay, what did I have for lunch?"
I know, right?
Was it laced with something? You know, I'd be like, I must be dreaming. Am I naked? You know.
It's just so weird because the entire time I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking, according to Back to the Future, that's not possible because the paradox. That's what I think, because I think so much of a paradox would happen with your mind. Right.
Yeah, I think so. It would just be totally freaky. Well, again, it's called The Time Traveler's Wife. It's PG-13, again, obviously because of just the butt shots. Is that pretty much
much it. And any sexuality is involved in marriage.
Right.
So, I mean, there really isn't anything bad in it.
Yeah. Now, outside the chick flick realm, though, would you recommend it for a date movie? Is it a decent date movie, or is it one you just probably should just rent when it comes out?
The guy might hate it, and the girl might nag at the guy, like, why don't you do sweet things like that for me? And they'll get in a fight about how he's not a time traveler.
Right.
But
if I was a time traveler, I'd have extra time to do all this.
I know, exactly. And I think that for a date movie, it could go over, but I think it's more of a group of girls going to see a movie. Right. That's what I see it more being than a date movie.
There you go. Again, it's called Time Traveler's Wife. We're going to take a small break, come back and talk again about District 9, plus a little bit about The Goods, plus our top 5 favorite sci-fi movies, just as, I guess, a celebration of District 9. And you know, sci-fi covers a lot of genres, so it's going to be interesting to see what we've put on our list. So we'll be right back right here on The Mungle Show.